information concerning sports from Nigeria and across the world. And I'm not doing this alone. I never do this alone. I have with me in the studio this morning, looking as lively and happy as ever. Tega, very good morning to you.
I like your sarcasm. Good morning, everybody. I'm happy with all of you. I'm not happy with my producer. He didn't give me my wafers.
Tega, delay is not denial. I have
It's
said
denial.
this.
It's denial. But good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to be here to talk to you because I missed you. And I'm sure that some of you will disappear because season is over. But you should stay on. There's a lot going on. We'll talk about people that were disqualified in tennis. Um, and then we'll also talk about Mercedes. Are they back or are they flattering us? All these Arsenal looking people.
Wow.
You know, then
Wow.
we'll also talk about Eden Hazard. Yes, the lizard that some people told me will become a crocodile in Spain. That's what we are going to talk about.
Lizard that's even devolved.
Do you understand? He even devolved to become a wall gecko. I can't even, let's not even go there. But yeah, we'll talk about that later on the show. But first of all, Ayo, tell us, how can we be part of the locker room?
All right, you can be part of the locker room this morning by sending your messages to us via WhatsApp on 0809 4440981. Studio line to call is 01448991, which will open when the time is right. And we are also streaming live on YouTube, yes, at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. So you can join the live stream. You can also drop your comments there as well.
Okay.
So, Tega, let me
start with the headlines.
Yes, let me let you know what is hot out there. So, Flying Eagles crash out after defeat to Korea Republic. That one is still annoying me. Miami Heat's fourth quarter rally upsets Denver Nuggets in NBA Finals Game 2. Lewis Hamilton sets sight on next season with Red Bull so far ahead. Djokovic Alcaraz into quarters as showdown looms. Man United broken after FA Cup final defeat. That's according to manager Eric Ten Hag. Benzema's Real exit surprise to everyone, says Ancelotti. Napoli celebrate title triumph on day of goodbyes. And Sergio Ramos joins Messi in leaving PSG.
Well, all those are to be expected. Plus Messi, plus Sergio Ramos. The question is, where are they going to? And how much are they collecting?
All I'll say is they are following the money.
I just want to know who's
That's
friend.
it.
I want to know how my network is going to be. I want to know who to friend this season.
Your network,
If you're not in Saudi Arabia, you can't be my friend.
your network, something your net worth. I mean, how is that
Yeah,
saying?
your network determines your net worth.
Determines your net worth. Thank you.
Yeah, so I have to make friends with Saudi Arabia people.
Alrighty, let's begin with the Flying Eagles. Now, Nigeria have been eliminated from this year's FIFA Under 20 World Cup following a 1-0 defeat to Korea Republic on Sunday. The Flying Eagles failed to score in over 120 minutes of the encounter.
Yes, so here's what was tricky about it. They had about 21 or 23 shots at goal. They had only 3 on target and no goal.
Mm.
South Korea had 4 shots at goal, 1 on target,
And
1
that was
goal.
it. That was it.
End of discussion. But it was just the way they paced themselves. You know, the Flying Eagles came out of the block. So they're playing very well. The press, they dominated possession, had a lot of passes. You know, all the stats people like to deceive yourself with that is great football. But what was important was putting the ball in the back of the net and just those decisions. You know, sometimes when you think that a player should make a pass and he try to take a shot and try to call it into the back of the net, you're like, dude, you've never called the ball into the back of the net in your life. Is this quarterfinal that you want to attempt it?
Miracles happen.
Miracles happen. So it was the most ridiculous attempt at goals, if you ask me. Yes, they created the chances. Yes, they opened South Korea up, but just this final decision to get the ball in the back of the net was the issue. South Korea, on the other hand, for the first 80 minutes of the game, I have to tell you, I'm sure if you put the ball on the goal line, they won't have been able to kick it over the line. No, they were that poor. They were misplacing passes. It's like they didn't know who their teammates were. They didn't look like the Korean side I saw against Ecuador. It was a completely different Korean side. It was just disjointed, poor performance. The only good thing they did was that they stopped the Flying Eagles from playing real fluid football in and around their 18-yard box. Midfield, Flying Eagles had all the opportunities, but in and around that 18-yard box, they tried to make it a little harder for the Flying Eagles. And then 88 minutes, like they woke up, that was their morning. And they started playing a little better, trying to press the Flying Eagles to get a quick goal to end the match. Unfortunately, they couldn't do that in regulation time. So they extended it into extra time, and you could tell 5 minutes into extra time was when Nigeria conceded her goal. So I wouldn't say the boys have played brilliantly. I'd say we have one or two individuals there that you can say, let's take those individuals and monitor them and see how they grow. But the team itself wasn't the brightest bulb in the room, in this tournament. So yes, sad one, because interestingly, if Nigeria had qualified from this one, they would have been facing Italy in the semi-finals. I remember they beat Italy in the group stage.
They did, but would Lightning have struck twice? Well,
Yeah,
we probably
yeah,
we'll never know.
we'll never know.
Never
Again,
know.
we'll never know. But some teams also grow into tournaments. Some teams, especially European teams, you watch them and you see them that in the group stages they're just trying to get out of the group.
Yes, and then from there,
football, their football just takes off from there. So it could have been a completely different Italian side, but at least it will be familiar foe.
exactly,
But that's a conversation we cannot be having now because they're probably on their flights back.
which is true. Now, Tega, you mentioned individuals. Now, do you share the opinion of a couple of people that some of the Flying Eagles players were being a bit too individualistic and not playing for the team?
Yeah, so again, you have to understand that scouts are here, and people unfortunately want to stand out. What did not recognize that in team sports you stand out by being a team player, that's I know
The irony.
the irony of life. You stand out by being a team player. So everybody was trying to show their own skill, their own athleticism, their own shot making, so that the scouts will see them. But I'm sure some scouts are looking and say that guy will not fit into that team. But if you showed how you fit into teams, perhaps it could be different. So those kind of things happen. Again, you have to remember that it's an age grade championship. It's under 20, so there's still a lot of growth
They're still young.
and development to take place. Yeah.
All right, let's talk NBA now. Now, Gabe Vincent scored 23 points. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo each had 21, and the Miami Heat evened up the NBA Finals by overcoming a monster effort from Nikola Jokic to beat the Denver Nuggets 111 to 108 in Game 2 on Sunday night.
Yeah, huge one. So this is all through the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets have defended their home court beautifully. They were 9-0 at home. So I think a lot of people, especially with the way they've been playing in recent time, expected that they would be 2-0 up going into Miami. And they started the game that way. The first quarter, both sides were shading leads, and then Miami took it. And then the second quarter was really when Denver really started to turn up the heat. Denver turned up the heat. At some point, they led by.
Denver turned up the heat.
Yeah, at some point they led by as much as 15 points in the game. But that fourth quarter was what was monster. It was like Miami Heat recognized that they had to be a little more physical, so they came out and it was everything they did. So it started with Duncan Robinson making a couple of threes, and that closed the gap a little bit. And then the rest of the squad, Jimmy Butler trying to go around his defense, and Bam Adebayo on the boards, just getting those rebounds. That was what was important for them. And so they're able to close up the gap. I think in the fourth quarter, they outscored Denver Nuggets 36 to 25 points. So it was not a good showing. It was not a good finish by the Denver Nuggets, but they did try to rally round and get some points. Jamal Murray had a very poor night, but towards the end of the game, he turned up. Unfortunately, he was a dollar short because he had the shot to make that 3-pointer to tie the game and take the game into overtime, but he missed it. The one 3-pointer that you wanted him to make was the one he missed. So despite the fact that Nikola Jokic scored 41 points on the ninth, unfortunately, it wasn't enough to carry his team 2-0 up. So they go to Miami now, having lost their home court advantage, and they're going to have to try at least to take game 3, if not game 4. So the most important thing, Miami is giving it back. I'm seeing Miami all through the playoffs just fight teams that were highly seeded and knock them out. This is an 8th seed who had to come in through the play-in after losing the first game of the play-ins anyway, and they're now playing in the finals, and they're matching the West number 1 in the Western Conference Finals neck to neck. It's a completely brilliant effort.
They just don't know when to stay down.
Yeah, they don't know when to stay down.
All right, this is the Locker Room at Smooth 98.1. Remember, you can be part of the conversation. Send your messages in via WhatsApp on 0809 444 981. We love to hear your thoughts and, of course, your opinions on what we're discussing today. All right, so Tega, let's talk Formula
Formula
One.
One, yeah.
Lewis Hamilton, Lewis Hamilton. Anyways, Mercedes had their best race of the season with their newly updated car at the Spanish Grand Prix, but Lewis Hamilton was under no illusions afterwards that he was about to reignite his rivalry with Max Verstappen.
Yes, so the upgrades came in this week, and sorry, it came in last week after actually, but like I said, because of the street circuit and all in Monaco, the way it is, it's hard to really know what the pace of the car could be. But in Barcelona, that upgrade was massive. Unfortunately, we didn't really see it on Saturday during qualifying. And that was what was tricky. We thought we saw glimpses of it because Lewis Hamilton, especially in Q3, he drives and he's the closest car to Max Verstappen. So we're like, okay, when he gets on newer tires, he's going to be faster. It's a lie. He got on newer tires and he finished fifth. He qualified fifth. So it was tricky. We didn't really see that. George Russell, on the other hand, qualified in 12th. So not really good positions, but the race pace on that Mercedes was amazing, especially with George. First of all, you have to understand he has youthful exuberance. He has hunger, hasn't won anything. So he was a little more on the edge than Lewis Hamilton was, and he was overtaking cars. So he went from 12th and finished in 3rd. Lewis Hamilton started in 4th because Gasly had a penalty, so he dropped behind Lewis Hamilton. Okay. So Lewis Hamilton started in 4th and finished in 2nd, but they finished about 23 points behind Max Verstappen. So
that is huge.
Yeah, so the pace of Max Verstappen is still ridiculous. So they're catching up to the best of races, taking out a Ferrari and Aston Martin, but they are not scratching the surface of what the Red Bull can do, and that's where the problem is, which is why Lewis Hamilton is saying, you know what, this season may have just gone. So far, Red Bull have won all the races in this season. We've had 7; they've won all 7. So, this season may just begun, but maybe next season, if we keep progressing like we are progressing, we'll be able to compete with them. But it's astonishing. However, the one thing else I want to bring up is Sergio Perez. Ever since Perez said he was going to contend with Max Verstappen for the championship, and he had won 2 races. He has not been winning again. I'm not saying there's sabotage. I'm just saying that I noticed that
what a coincidence.
Exactly. That is quite a coincidence that the minute he stepped up for championship, his car started underperforming. All right.
Tega, I'm not going to say anything.
I did not say anything. I'm not insinuating.
What I will say though is that you mentioned that Red Bull have won 7 out of 7 races this season. I doubt this will be a case of the elephants at the top of the tree.
No. It's not an Arsenal something. This is a Manchester City something.
You said I didn't mention Arsenal. You mentioned Arsenal. It wasn't me. Alrighty, we need to take a quick breather. But on the other side, we'll have more stories for you, and of course, the locker room will continue. Stick around. This is Smooth 98.1.
All right, so when we come back, we'll just touch very briefly on Roland, and then we'll go into football.
Okay. Roland Garros.
And we'll go into football. Oh, Charlatan. I was wondering why 3 days ago, sorry too. Available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets with very convenient dosing for kids. Charlatan is also available in tablets for adults. Knock out malaria.
You have fuel?
Always.
Symptoms persist after 3 days. Okay, you have a guy, that's true. How much are you buying your own fuel?
It's still 490. There's nobody that's selling less. 488 or 490.
So how much fuels your car now?
Ha!
Yeah.
Let's not touch that one. Let's not go there. So, and this weekend, ironically, I had 1,000,001 places to go, so my tank is almost empty already. But I think it used to be 10K or 9 something.
By 3.
It used to be 9 something. Now I'm feeling up for about 28.
Yeah, times 3.
Hey! So I'm very humble. She said, I think I'll come and if I visit you in your house, you need to lay out the red carpet.
Hey.
And cook pounded yam and ogbono. I'm not even playing. And the ogbono should have that dry fish, not smoked fish. Dry fish is 2 different things. And the beef should not have any fat on it.
I will make momo in the ogbono as well.
I'm not a fan of pomo.
Soft momo.
I'm not a fan of pomo in ogbono.
Snail, the hot snail as well.
I'm still not a fan of that in ogbono. Yeah, anything that draws is not.
You need obstacle course.
And just that dry fish and that meat is enough. But the dry fish has to be like sapele dry fish. Like I said, not Lagos smoked fish. That's what we want.
That's very elitist.
If you insist. I think snail doesn't for me. Snail doesn't work in ogbono. A lot of things don't work in ogbono for me, so I prefer to see more in egusi. You know, snail in as long as if it draws, I don't want to see it in ogbono.
Did you just hear this?
I think there are two players that
Two
great.
spots.
So we'll just quickly come in with Roland Garros and then we'll go to Manchester United.
Quality anti-malaria contains Artemisa and lumefantrine, available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets with very convenient dosing for kids. Charlatan is also for adults.
What's that?
After following Argentina in high fashion, we're laid down in green pastures.
You are listening to the Smooth Breakfast right here on Smooth 98.1.
Forget bad mouth. You're in the locker room on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. You love music, love live station. Ayo and Tega doing justice to the sports news. And you can be a part of the conversation this morning by sending a message on WhatsApp 0809 4440981.
On YouTube.
YouTube, yes, at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Catch the live stream. You can drop your comments there as well. The message came in from Tayo. Tayo says, after quote unquote falling Argentina in high fashion, we were laid down in green pastures by Korea. What a wonderment. Tega, link me up with your fuel guy. I have red, green, all color carpets. Just link me up.
I will think about it. That the goose is supposed to be ripe. All right. let's quickly touch on what's happening in France.
Let's talk about tennis now. Novak Djokovic swept into the French Open quarterfinals for the 14th straight year on Sunday as world number one Carlos Alcaraz breezed past Lorenzo Musetti to stay on a collision course with the 22-time Grand Slam champion.
All right, so we are getting to the business end, and so some tricky ties are coming in. Now, ideally, if Hawkeye just won his match against Varias, he would have been the one playing Novak Djokovic, and I think that would have been a little closer. But it's tricky that you can get closer to some of the top players and then lose to random players.
It's so funny when that
happens. But yeah, so as soon as that loss came for Hawkeye, I just knew that it was going to be an easy ride for Novak Djokovic, and it really was an easy. It was I would say it was a warm-up match for him. I don't want to call it competition, but what that means is he now has more appearances in the final 8 of Roland Garros than Rafa Nadal. Difference is it doesn't matter because Rafa Nadal has 10 times, okay, not 10 times, but twice the medals that Novak Djokovic will ever have at Roland Garros. So, really interesting one there. The tricky ties also came up for Alcaraz because Musetti is playing brilliantly and he also plays brilliantly on clay especially. But Alcaraz was able to take him out with his court coverage and his heavy ground stroke. So that was that I think that was the edge that he had over Musetti, and he was able to go through. Another tricky tie that happened over the weekend was Zverev against Tiafoe, and Zverev came out of that one victorious. But there was a controversial disqualification at Roland Garros now. So in the doubles match, one of the players she was trying to send the ball to the other side of the court for the ball girls, and she mistakenly hit a ball girl on the back.
Oh.
And that's automatic disqualification. Now, a lot of people like she didn't do it intentionally. She didn't do it in anger, because usually that thing happens in anger, like the one with Novak Djokovic and the lineswoman at the US Open. But the rules are simple. The rules are if you hit somebody with the ball and you hurt the person, automatical disqualification, whether it's accidental or not.
But shouldn't context be taken into question?
So the question is how much context, because if we let her slide because everybody could see it was unintentional and the ball girl was turned away from her, so the ball girl didn't even see that the ball was coming to her, which meant that she should have waited till the ball girl was looking at her, and that's what I think is the recklessness that is added to what she did. If you say she has to slide, it means the next time you have to determine that the other person wasn't frustrated when he passed the ball out. Because sometimes players lose themselves and they hit the ball in frustration. At the ball boys. How do you want to say that it was frustration or they were not trying to pass the ball, only that they hit it a little more heavy? So you can't, it's a slippery slope. So you have to follow, with this kind of situation, you have to follow the rules to the letter. So it's automatic disqualification. I know it was unintentional. I know she hit the ball gently, but she hit somebody. And what made matters worse was she hit the person, the ball hit the ball girl, and the ball girl was just standing in the corner. She didn't cry immediately. So the umpire gave a warning. Then the Aproko opponents now came and said, see, the ball girl is crying. Then the ball girl really started to cry. And then they now had to disqualify them.
Inside job.
Inside job. So yeah, it was also part of being a tattletale because it was the umpire had initially said they can carry on playing, but it was the opponents that said the ball girl was crying. So they were the ones that reported their rivals and they were disqualified. So yes, it's the law and it's justifiable by law that those girls should be disqualified. However sad you feel for them is the law. If you hit somebody and they're hurt, you're disqualified.
That's rather unfortunate. Alrighty, let's move on and talk about football. Not exactly one of my best stories, but
are you broken too?
Anyways, I will not even answer that question, Tega. Erik ten Hag said on Saturday his Manchester United team are broken and disappointed after their FA Cup final defeat to bitter rivals Manchester City, but he is proud of his men.
I would say this. It was the manner in which they conceded. That very early goal. Match just started and you've conceded one goal. That put them on the back foot.
About 14 seconds.
Yeah, or thereabouts. Like we haven't even sat down. We just the reminder just turned and they had considered a goal. And then I think the second goal was what was tricky. Now a lot of people say, oh yeah, that was a soft goal. And really, if you just watched it, it was a soft goal. But you have to remember the ball took several bounces, passed through the legs of several people. So by the time David De Gea was going to reach, the ball was beyond him. So yes, it looked a soft goal, and it looked like a goal that could be stopped. But it was the manner that they considered, I think, that made this look worse. Because, look, at this point in time, Manchester City is beating people on reputation alone. They've done all the work as being one of the most dangerous. And at this point in time, people are genuinely afraid of them and they're beating people on reputation. Because if you look at the effort that they put in and the effort that Manchester United put in, not too much difference. The difference is their own shots went in. Manchester United that had two clearer shots, like that header, that one pained me to my soul. I was like, why didn't you head it back to where the ball was coming from? Why are you heading it directly at the goalkeeper? What is wrong with you? There were opportunities like that you thought that Manchester United could have taken advantage of to get a second goal, and maybe even a third, but they didn't do that. And so, yes, you can be broken all you want, but this summer, I think Real Madrid's already looking at Harry Kane. He's in England. He's an English boy. It's easier to woo him to Manchester than to carry him to Spain.
But do you think Daniel Levy would actually sell a Harry Kane to a direct rival?
Daniel Levy is what? Is it not money that he wants? Give him his money and collect your man. What are you talking about? Didn't he sell Gareth Bale?
But 200 million.
Look, if you put the right amount of money on the table, even if Harry Kane were Daniel Levy's son, he will release him.
No, but Tega, the point is this: Harry Kane has, I think, a year left on his contract. He's 29. 200 million.
That's how
money.
That's how much the players cost these days. I mean, look at Jack Grealish. Even I knew he was a big fish in a small pond, but people said he was brilliant, and they sold him for 100 million. I will not buy Jack Grealish 100. I will not buy him 40 million. Me, as Tega Onojaife.
Should we say it's English tax?
Me and Wenger, we are the same. All right, so let's look at our next story.
Oh my goodness! All right, let's head over to Spain, where Karim Benzema's decision to leave Real Madrid after 14 trophy-laden years was a surprise, according to manager Carlo Ancelotti, but insisted that the Ballon d'Or winner has earned the right to choose. This story is actually funny to me because I thought Benzema said the internet is just the internet.
First of all, that's number one. But number two, I think that Ancelotti is the only person that is surprised that Benzema is leaving. They gave Benzema good money. At Benzema's age, you're now telling me that you're surprised. You better wake up from your dream. How can you be surprised? Look at the amount of money offered him. He's won everything that he needs to win in club football. he just needs to secure his retirement fund.
That's all.
How can you be surprised? So I'm not remotely surprised about it. I expected that Karim Benzema will leave. The question is who is going to replace him now. Unfortunately, Erling Haaland is comfortable in Manchester City, because if he were a little uncomfortable, you could say you could rest him from them. But and Mbappe, I don't know what's wrong with Mbappe. Maybe they buried his umbilical cord in PSG.
Prince of France.
But he doesn't want to leave. So that, which is why Harry Kane is now hot cake, which is why I said if Manchester brings money, he will go. But yeah, they're beginning to look in that direction when it comes to striking options, because they have to replace their squad. Their squad is aging. You can talk about that in front, but you also think they have to replace Luka Modric and Toni Kroos soon. So those are big decisions they have to make, and they're going to have to do a lot of buying in the market for Real Madrid. So I don't know why Ancelotti is worried. On the other hand, let's talk about Eden Hazard, that people were also fluffed up about. I remember several times.
I was not one of them.
Okay, total football guys seem to be excited about Eden Hazard, and I remember when he was playing in England, I tell him, "Oh, such a brilliant player." I'm not saying he wasn't a good player, but they were putting him in the same sentence with the likes of Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. I was like, what exhaust did you inhale as you drove to the office? Like, there's no reality in which that guy is anywhere close to those guys. But he was playing in Chelsea and he was doing well, and so people were now equating that to being talented. I do remember one of them saying that and they say he doesn't train well, so you can imagine if he trains, he can never train any better. That's how he is. And then he goes to Real Madrid, and you can say, yes, he had a series of injuries, and that's what took him out. You can say age took him out. But what it is that he didn't show up at all. It's one thing. Gareth Bale went up and he showed up a little bit, then he was injured a little bit. And then do you understand?
And then played golf a little bit.
Yeah, and played golf a little bit. But this is a guy that he showed up in Champions League final, showed up in
Copa del Rey finals as well.
Do you understand? Showed up in the derby between Barcelona and Real Madrid. It just, the name was eluding me just now. It just showed up in El Clasicos. Those are, he had his moments. Eden Hazard did not even show up at all.
And when I saw the numbers, in I think 4 years at Madrid, 76
games,
he did not play up to 100 games.
And they were not start to. No, not all stats. It was just appearances. They're talking about, if you now have to add stats, the number drops ridiculously even more. So sad one, but Real Madrid is going to have to do some deals in the transfer market.
Indeed. All right, let's go to WhatsApp. Emeka from Amo says, I don't understand why United fans are upset. After all, they supported City to win the league against Arsenal, outside brotherly love, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Leave that one. They should be happy their brother is doing well. Now, City will be playing Arsenal for the Community Shield next season. Concern me. Another message from Chinwe Nancy says, I also heard Madrid wants Havertz. They should quickly come and carry Havertz.
Chinwe Nancy wants to give
him pay for delivery fee to Madrid. Havertz, your striker in quotes. Okay.
Why putting Havertz like that? Tayo says, Man United with their Udumodu looking hats failed. Wow, Tayo, I'm blocking you. Failed to stop Man City. This is how they put pressure on other teams. It is up to Lukaku and friends now. As the football season is coming to an end, please return the remote to your partner. Don't be selfish. Let them watch the other things on TV. If further asks, the only similarity between Hazard and C. Ronaldo is the jersey number they both share. Thank you.
Wow. Cruz said, honestly, I thought Hazard had joined the training crew since he wasn't playing matches. Una get bad mouth too. All right, let me take one more message here. This is from Mayo. Okay, Mayo is still typing. Mayo, please type quickly because time is not
almost out of time.
Our side
we're almost out of time. But let's take one from YouTube. And YouTube says, Tega, Hazard was mega talent and the closest thing to Messi and Ronaldo. It's unfortunate it didn't work for him in Madrid, but your analysis on Hazard is very, very fair. He was poor. It's just that people did not have foresight.
Yeah. This thing about Hazard being close to Messi, I would say Neymar was closer to Messi and Ronaldo than Hazard.
It was the biggest PR stunt I've seen. I was like, which footballer are people watching?
I need that PR team in my life.
So let's round up with Mayowa's message. If you have anything else to say about
Mayowa, I thought you were typing, but it seems like you just wanted to say good morning.
Yeah, Mayowa just said good morning to us. So if you have anything more to say about Hazard, you can meet me on Twitter at Tega Supreme. and we'll have a field day there. You know, there's some things I can't say here because, you know, there's even professionalism and banter. But if you go to Twitter, we can banter it out very well.
Things get very colorful.
So meet me there. All right. So that's it on the locker room today. We leave this studio to Ayo.
Thank you very much, Tega, for being in. Looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday. And we've come to the end of the locker room. Thank you so much for your messages. In about 15 minutes, Lagos, we're going to get talking on Lagos Talks. And of course, it's World Environment Day, and we'll be having a discussion about the environment. You don't want to miss that one. Stick around and keep listening to Smooth 98.1.
Yeah, say bye-bye. You will say bye-bye. Which kind of person are you?
I said bye-bye already.
He said bye-bye to you too.